Let's stick with the Iran war and this rise in Brent after those U.S. strikes on Iranian missile sites. Joining us this morning is Rapidan Energy CEO Scott Modell, who's been great eyes and ears through the course of these hostilities. Scott, welcome back.
Thanks, Carl. Good morning.
I would argue you've tried to condition the street not to bite at every line in the water when it comes to hopes for a deal. Is this one any different?
Well, I actually would say that, Carl, for the first time, we're seeing some signs of convergence. I would be very cautious because I think both sides, you see over the weekend, this flare up that you mentioned is both sides trying to manage the optics, Iran with its hardliners, President Trump with anti-deal or deal hawks here at home, or Iran hawks. So I think there's a lot of management going on. And I think we're going to see more flare ups and we're going to see more of this in the run up to this. And you were saying before, I think there's some real difficult decisions that are going to have to be made because, again, no matter what kind of deal we get, an MOU, a framework, or a final deal, there will be critics for the entire 30 or 60-day period, whatever that MOU shows. And so it's going to be a bumpy ride, but I wouldn't rush for the off-ramp just yet.
But it does sound like you're arguing the discussion now is less about the two sides of the table and more managing the response on the home fronts.
In some ways, it really is. I think President Trump is really eager to find a deal. I think you can see in the concessions he's making from his original positions. Before, it was ship the highly enriched uranium out to the United States. He would accept nothing less. Now, in the recent days, he's saying it's actually okay if Iran downblends it inside of Iran. You're seeing him talk about cash, some form of a cash payment up front, which he never would have done before. You're seeing a lot of concessions that suggest he is willing to do a deal. There was a fierce reaction to all of that President Trump's going to have to manage. But again, I think the optics I think he thinks the optics can be managed. And I think as we head into the summer months, I think he's starting to realize when you look at where we're headed from a fundamentals perspective into July and August, he thinks he can manage his optics and find a way to a deal, but it's not going to be easy.
What do you know about sanctions relief and whether that's part of that and how it alters the supply-demand equation here for oil?
So it's a good question. We're hearing about sanctions relief. I think we could expect President Trump to do waivers on Iranian oil exports during the ceasefire period. The president has had a track record of looking the other way on Iranian oil flowing to China. I don't think he would have a problem doing that. I don't think we would see sanctions waivers, sanctions easing beyond that, though, Sarah. I think it would just be during this period, getting as much oil flowing as we can, including Iran's.